You didn't plan on the ache returning tonight. You were halfway to sleep until the pain grabbed your breath and made your body stir. Some wounds don't make noise until the lights go out. How long have you been whispering to the darkness? It hurts more than anyone can see. There's a woman in her late 40s, let's call her Sarah. She works full-time and volunteers on weekends, keeping busy to forget. But when the lights dim, her body protests, a shooting pain in her spine that rivals her tears. She doesn't tell people, because how do you explain a wound no one bandages? So she nods when asked about her day. She smiles when they ask about plans. Inside, she's calculating which muscles hurt, which pills help, and making peace with tears that only come while brushing her teeth. Tonight, she lies awake. She slides her hand along her rib cage, and the ache whispers, "I am real. I don't need relief. I just need someone to know it hurts." Because the world seems fine with your body breaking in silence. But your spirit can't breathe under the weight of being unseen. If you've ever felt your body betray your soul, stick around. What comes next might feel like permission to feel it again. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This isn't about instant healing, it's about presence. The same presence that anchors you in this moment, whispering that your pain is seen even if the world sleeps. God isn't a healer in haste, He's the one who kneels beside you. When your body can't push through another hour of discomfort, you don't have to pretend to have it all together. He doesn't ask for armor. Not now, not tonight. If you've been carrying numbness or trying to pretend the pain doesn't exist, the next moment might be the one that honors it instead. Picture a storm in a teacup, tiny, yes, but no less real. The world may call it small, a nuisance, but God sees every ripple, and He doesn't tell it to go away. He places His hand over the teacup, letting the storm still rage, but ensuring it's safe. That's the kind of space He offers you tonight. You are not alone in this. You are not invisible to Him. You are still worthy of rest. Lord, for the one whose body aches in silence, who prays with tears that no one hears, would you hold their pain as if it were your own? Would you let midnight's ache feel less heavy in your arms? If this quiet whisper eased something in you, stay. You don't have to face the ache alone tonight. And if this space met you in the ache, wait, because next time we'll speak toward the fear that pain often hides behind. It's often said 80% of people with chronic pain experience isolation, not just physically, but emotionally. You're not alone, and you're certainly not invisible. If this moment met you, write, even in this pain, I am not alone. Say it for your soul. This whisper was for the ache you feel tonight. But next time, we'll move into the fear that shadows it and find peace that isn't dependent on pain ending. Sometimes the pain isn't in the tone of your voice. It's in the way you stop replying to texts because even small tasks feel heavy. Tonight, it's the heaviness of every closed eyelid that speaks louder than any scream could. Meet James, a former high school teacher in his early 60s. He loved reading to his students, laughing with colleagues, even coaching soccer after school. But a spinal injury changed everything. Now he can't stand for more than 10 minutes without sharp pain. Friends stopped inviting him out. His daughters began to visit less, both busy with families of their own. One lonely Thursday night, he opened a video call ready to share about his pain, but nobody answered. So he sat at the table, staring at the blank screen, and quietly ate his dinner alone. Do I disappear because I'm no longer useful? Do my pain and tears make me unlovable? If you've ever wondered if your struggles make you less valuable, stay. What you hear next might remind your soul exactly how loved you are. Even to your old age and gray hairs I am he who will sustain you. Isaiah 46:4. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Your worth isn't defined by what you can do or by how useful you feel. You're not too much, you're deeply precious. God doesn't step away because your body hurts or your voice faded. He drew near. He didn't wait until you'd done enough to be loved. He whispered, I am for you. Let your heart listen to this. You are not falling through the cracks. And next, we'll talk about how even your tears have purpose. Think of your tear as a raindrop. One drop doesn't break the dam, but every drop shows the sky still remembers to cry. God doesn't dismiss your tears, he collects them. He doesn't see weakness, he sees rain that brings life. You are still loved, you are still held, you are still seen. Lord, for the one eating dinner in silence tonight, please remind them they're not forgotten, not unseen, not unworthy of company or care. If this moment whispered care into your ache, stay. There's space here to heal as you are. And if tonight taught your tears how to breathe, the next whisper might tell you why your ache wasn't a mistake. Chronic pain affects more than 100 million adults in the US. Many feel isolated, but healing often begins when someone simply sees. If this spoke to your soul tonight, comment, I am seen even in silence. Let that be your prayer spoken out loud. You belonged tonight, even in pain. Next time, we'll whisper to the fear hiding beneath the ache. At 2 a.m., the pain becomes louder. It presses into your chest, telling you how tired you are of smiling through the day. But tonight, your exhaustion might just become a moment of grace. There's a man named Robert in his early 50s who battles migraine attacks every week. He's learned to laugh it off in social settings, pretend it's just a stress. But behind closed doors, the pain drives him to the floor, hands pressed to his head, whispering desperate prayers that even he can barely hear. He doesn't call friends, doesn't ask for help, because what do you say I need help for something no one sees? So he grits his teeth, breathes through another wave, and scrolls past pleas for help on his phone, too ashamed to text. What if my pain never stops? What if I'm just the guy who suffers in silence while life goes on? If your body reminds you of its limits, don't click away, because next we'll speak to the part of you that feels forgotten, even in pain. The Lord supports all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Psalm 145:14. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. This isn't about a quick fix. It's about being held when you can't hold yourself. Your body may bend, almost break, but you're not alone. God doesn't wait for your strength. He waits for your whisper. He hears each silent scream. He meets your pain with a presence strong enough to hold your shattered edges. Stay with this, because the next line might remind you that pain isn't the end of your story. Picture a candle in a storm. It flickers, waxes, sometimes almost goes out, but the wind doesn't snuff it, it just dances around it. That's how your heart feels, fragile, weak, yet still lit. God is a calm air, not extinguishing your flame, but protecting it through the wind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not overshadowed by your pain. You are still a light worth protecting. Lord, for the one fighting hidden battles, would you be the breath that steadies their body, the calm that stills their storm? Help them feel safe, even in the darkest moment. If this felt like holding onto hope in the dark, stay. There's more light whispering your name. And if tonight gave you strength to flicker again, the next whisper might be about finding joy even in the fragments. Nearly 75% of chronic pain sufferers report their condition impacts their mental health more than the pain itself. You're not alone in this dual battle. If this part reminded you that your pain isn't invisible to God, comment. He holds my frail light. Let that truth burn in the dark. This whisper was for your fragile flame. Next time, we'll speak gently to the joy that hides behind the ache. At 3 a.m., it's not just your body that aches, it's your heart asking, will it ever feel safe again? When even the darkness presses weight on you. You know, this isn't just physical pain, it's a soul pounding in the night. Meet Lisa, mid-50s, finally retired after decades of teaching and motherhood. She expected freedom, but the freedom came with tremors in her hands that medicines couldn't calm. It started one morning, her spoon trembling, so badly she couldn't eat cereal. Her family told her to let it go. It's old age, they said. She laughed it off. But at night, the tremors shook her confidence, not just physically, emotionally. She began to wonder, am I still steady enough to belong, to be needed? How do you keep your identity when your body feels like a stranger, when every unsteady tremor tells you you're not who you thought you were anymore? If the night keeps whispering that you're losing yourself, don't click away yet, because the next truth might steal the doubt from your hands. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am he who will sustain you. Isaiah 46:4. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. Your identity isn't tied to your strength. It's tied to His presence. Even when your hands shake, even when sleep won't come because your soul feels unsteady. He whispers, I remain. I am enough. You are enough. You are not losing yourself. You are just learning to rest in someone who never falters. Hold on, because the next whisper is a truth that could rewrite your midnight narrative. Picture a tree root deep in soil. It shakes in the wind, leaves tremble, but the roots don't break. They don't lose their place. That's you, shaking, struggling, but rooted in steady love, even when the storm of pain fills the night. Your identity is not your weakness. Your worth is not in your strength. Your value is rooted, never shaken. Lord, for the one watching tremors define their worth, would you press peace into their palms tonight? Would you help them rest, not in what they can do, but in who you are? If this whispered a steadiness your heart craved, stay. You belong exactly as you are, tremor and all. And if this helped you remember who you are, wait. The next whisper will gently touch the shame behind the pain. Research shows chronic tremors and pain at night often bring shame, not sympathy. But tonight you are met with honor. If this part reclaimed your right to belong, comment. I belong even in my tremors. Let that truth hold you. This whisper was for your identity, shaken, not lost. But next time, we'll speak to the shame in the silence that sometimes screams louder than pain. When the clock ticks past midnight and every breath aches deeper than the last, you don't scream, you just awake. There's a retired nurse, Margaret, in her late 60s, whose hands betrayed her kindness. Arthritis bit into her knuckles so she can barely button her sweater nowadays. She told her grandchildren, "My hands are just old." Inside, she mourns the loss of her touch, no longer able to kneel beside a friend in pain, no longer able to craft little gifts from yarn. One night, sorted through her knitting basket, she wept silently, holding yarn between shaking fingers. That's when she whispered, "I miss useful me. How can I feel meaningful when my body won't let me help as I used to? If your usefulness feels like it's slipping away, stay. Because the next whisper might affirm that worth isn't what you can do. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9, the Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Psalm 145:14, you are not defined by what you can manage. You are defined by who He says you are. In weakness, His strength becomes clear. So this evening, when your fingers tremble, let His grace hold them steady. When usefulness fades, let His purpose carry you. Hold on, because the next whisper might breathe meaning into the parts of you you thought were lost. Picture a vase, fractured but still standing. It no longer holds water as elegantly, but the cracks are filled with gold kintsugi, repaired beautifully. That's you, repaired by grace. Still whole, still beautiful. Your worth isn't earned by doing. Your value isn't measured by productivity. Your purpose is held in grace. Lord, for the one whose hands ache to help, would you hold their purpose tonight? Would you show them their touch still matters even when it's slowed? If this whisper made you feel seen, stay. This space reminds you you're enough. And if tonight gave you grace for your weakness, the next whisper might show you the beauty beneath your pain. Studies show chronic pain, patients whose sense of purpose remains strong are more likely to thrive even with ongoing pain. Your purpose matters regardless of your abilities. If this gave you freedom to still be you, comment, my worth is in grace, not gain. Let that truth ring in your heart. This whisper was for your heart's ache, but next time we'll gently explore how your scars shine in the dark. In the silent hours before dawn, there's a voice inside you that whispers, you're still breaking, and the world expects you to wake and be okay. But tonight, maybe you don't have to. Meet Ellen, a writer in her 50s whose fingers once danced across the keyboard in rapid rhythm. She wrote stories that lifted hearts. Then a car accident stole her dexterity and alongside it, her joy. Now she watches her manuscript remain unfinished pages, scattered words, half-formed. She visits bookstores but never enters. Last Thursday, under soft lamplight, she held a pen desperate for the spark to return, but the pen felt foreign in her grip. Tears blurred the page before ink could touch paper. And she whispered, what's left of me when my story stops? How do you believe you still matter when the thing you loved most no longer listens to your hands? If your passion slipped through your grasp, stay. Because the next whisper might remind you purpose isn't always tied to your hands. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book. Psalm 139:16. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Your purpose isn't scattered by broken dreams. It's woven into you, made before articulation or achievement. When your hands can't write anymore, your worth isn't erased. You were authored long before you penned your first sentence. And even in the silence of unfinished pages, God is still writing your story, love and grace still flowing through each chapter. Hold tight, because the next whisper might breathe hope into the void of what's left undone. Picture a symphony missing its lead, violin, empty seats, quiet stage, but the conductor's arms still move. Because music isn't just about solos, it's about harmony. Even your unfinished story still resonates in His design. Your purpose wasn't lost in the unfinished. Your value isn't defined by what you complete. Your story still matters to Him. Lord, for the one wrestling with incomplete dreams, would you breathe purpose into the pages they feel broken inside? Remind them their value isn't in completion, but in being chosen, even when their story feels paused. If this whisper felt like soft encouragement tonight, stay. We're discovering together you matter beyond what you produce. And if this helped you feel seen in the unfinished, the next whisper might remind you to rest in the chapters God is still writing. Studies show 1 in 4 people experiencing chronic pain also lose their sense of purpose, but reconnecting with meaning improves their quality of life even without cures. If you needed this tonight, comment, "My story matters even unfinished." Let that truth echo inside you. This whisper was for the ache of what you couldn't finish. Next time, we'll lean into the grace that embraces you when purpose gets rewritten in the silent spaces. When the pain is quiet beneath your ribs, it sounds louder than any scream. It's a steady rhythm against your chest. You are still hurting. But what if tonight you don't have to carry it alone? There's a man named Tom, age 58, who battles rheumatoid arthritis. Each morning, waking up is like greeting a storm in his joints. He's a former carpenter, someone who built homes, held hammers, created warmth with his hands. Now, he can barely open a jar of coffee. Friends said, "Just take a pill and push through." But we both know, pills don't bring back a lifetime of touch. Last night, he tried to fold a t-shirt and dropped it 10 times before tears came. He whispered to the fabric, "I don't even fit in my own skin anymore." How do you reclaim your place in the world when your own body feels foreign? If you've ever felt cut off from your own life, stay here. What you're about to hear could remind you that belonging isn't lost, just hidden. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139, 13-14. I will restore you to health and heal your wounds. Jeremiah 30-17. Your story isn't invalidated by a broken body. You are still fearfully and wonderfully made, not because of what you can do, but because someone formed you with intention. God said you are restorable, not perfect, but healable. It's okay to hurt. And it's okay to believe that the one who shaped you can shape healing into your bones, your hands, your very identity. Hold on, because the next whisper may be the one that breathes belonging into your ache. Imagine a river worn through rock. It didn't stop because the stones resisted. It moved with patience, soft, perfected. Your pain isn't a barrier to your purpose. It's a path shaping you into something deeper. Your worth isn't lost in the pain. Your belonging isn't erased by your condition. Your story is still being written even now. Lord, for the one whose body feels like a stranger, would you touch their sense of belonging tonight? Help them feel more at home in their own skin, because you built it with love. If this whisper reminded you that you still belong, stay. Let these nights of healing hold you close, and if tonight brought back belonging, the next whisper may remind you how your voice still echoes in His plans. More than 60% of adults with disabling pain say it impacts their sense of identity, but reconnecting to community and purpose brings noticeable healing even apart from medicine. If this part reminded you that you matter, type, "I still belong," even in pain. Let that truth root in your heart. This whisper was for your belonging. Next time, we'll explore the power of your voice even when it trembles. When your heart pounds in rhythm with the ache, when sleep won't come and even the darkness feels heavy, listen closely, because tonight pain might be your secret doorway to peace. That's Maria in her early 60s, whose chest tightens every time grief flares over her husband's loss 2 years ago. She goes through the motions, cooking, greeting neighbors, church on Sundays. But nights she lies awake in the quiet, clutching his old sweater, eyes fixed on the ceiling as her memories replay his laugh, his smell, his hand on hers. One evening, she whispered into the empty house, "I love you," hoping somewhere beyond the walls he'd still hear her. Does loving someone who's gone make me broken, or does it make me brave enough to feel? If missing them feels like forgetting yourself, stay, because the next whisper might remind you love never leaves. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18, I will not leave you comfortless, I will come to you. John 14:18, you're not broken for loving someone who's gone. The ache is proof of a heart that loved deeply. And God, He doesn't walk away from that ache. He comes close. He sits with your tears. He doesn't ask you to forget. He asks you to trust there's still love enough to hold you. Hold on. What comes next may heal something you thought was irreparable. Think of a widow's dove. She returns to the backyard every night even when her mate is gone. She coos into the dark, hoping for an answer. Sometimes there's none, but sometimes, just sometimes, a breeze carries his whisper through the trees. That's grace. Not always seen, but always felt. Your love isn't a burden. Your grief isn't a weakness. Your heart still beats beautifully bravely. Lord, for the heart still beating after loss, would you whisper back to them? Remind them their love still matters, even when the person is gone. If tonight's whisper comforted your ache, stay. This space holds every bleed of love and grief. If this gave voice to your missing, the next whisper may teach you how to breathe again with hope. Over 60% of widows report the loneliest hours are between 2 to 4 a.m. nights when memories press hardest. If this part spoke for your silence, comment. Love stays even in the quiet. Let that truth rescue your night. This whisper was for the ache of someone who's left next time. We'll talk about healing love into something new. When the ache whispers through your dreams, that's when pain steals your morning before it even comes. When night won't let go, it's like a voice saying, you're still broken. But tonight might be the night you're reminded you're not alone. There's a woman, Denise, in her late 40s who experiences migraines that steal her sight, speech, and sleep. She's canceled events, skipped dinners, hidden tears behind dimmed lights. Road trips are too loud. Children's laughter feels like fireworks. She knows what being consumed by pain truly means. Last night, curled on the couch with an ice pack, she whispered in the dark, God, if I disappear into this pain, will you find me? Am I too much to love from this wreckage, or will even my disappearing self be claimed by grace? If you've ever felt like pain is erasing you, stay, because next might be a whisper louder than the ache. But you, Lord, are a compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness. Psalm 86:15. The Lord sustains them on their sickbed and restores them from their bed of illness. Psalm 41:3. God sees your erasure. Your pain doesn't disqualify you from His compassion. He's not waiting for you to be whole to love you. He sustains you in sickness, bedridden, hidden aching. He whispers, I am here. Even when you feel gone, hold tight, because the next whisper might remind you. Your value doesn't depend on your presence, it depends on His presence. Picture a flame underwater, doused but not extinguished, fighting to survive. That's your soul in pain. God doesn't demand perfect conditions. He sustains what's impossibly alive. You are seen in your suffering. You are loved in your weakness. You are not disappearing. Lord, for the one whose pain makes them feel invisible, would you pull them closer tonight? Let them know their soul is still burning, and you are tending their flame. If this whisper felt like someone found your flame, stay, This space learns to treasure the unseen sparks, and if tonight restored even a flicker of hope, tomorrow's whisper may give your soul room to glow again. Over 80% of chronic illness sufferers say they felt unseen by friends and family, but they were never unseen by Him. If this part reminded you you're still burning even softly, type "My flame is seen, let that truth hold you tight." This whisper met you in the fading spark. Next time, we'll speak into renewal, not of pain lifted, but of a soul rekindled from within. When your pillow soaks up your tears at 4 a.m. and you wake again expecting relief that never came, know this: your pain has an echo and it's whispering, "I remember you." You didn't type it in search bar, "This isn't how to stop pain," but it's what your heart desperately needed tonight. Meet Jamal, a Black American veteran in his 60s living with PTSD and chronic back pain since service. He won't say it out loud, but his army boots sit unused because the floors hurt. He used to march with pride. Now he shuffles to his recliner. He told his church, "I'm fine." Inside, in the green glow of late night TV, he rolls out foam pads to ease the ache and listens to the radio, remembering firefights, not the quiet nights that haunt him. One night, he whispered under his breath, "I served. I survived. But why do I feel like no one sees me now? Do my scars still matter when the war's gone silent? Do I still belong when my uniform no longer fits my bones?" If you've ever fought battles that no one recognizes, if sleep won't come because your mind is restless, stay, because what comes next might let your heart breathe again. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Your scars don't disqualify you from love, they mark you for compassion. God doesn't forget the battles you fought inside or out. He's the one who kneels beside your worn out boots, not to fix them, but to speak. You are honored. You are held. Your pain still matters. Your wounds are not your weakness. They are proof you survived. Hold on. What comes next might turn shame into honor and loneliness into belonging. Picture of veterans' medals gathering dust in a drawer. They're faded, maybe forgotten by others, but not by God. He doesn't see rust. He sees valor. Even if the world whispers your story's over, God is still writing with honor beneath every medal and every morning ache. Your fight isn't finished by pain. Your value isn't measured by your strength. Your story is still being honored. Lord, for the soldier whose service now weighs on his bones, would you remind him tonight he isn't unseen, he isn't forgotten, he's loved beyond measure even when pain shouts louder than prayers. If tonight's whisper felt like it honored your battles, stay. We're a quiet company for the ones who fought alone. And if this helped you believe your story still matters, the next whisper might guide you from battle weary to soul restored. Nearly 30% of older veterans report chronic pain affects their sleep and mental health, but few find healing in spaces that honor their story. Dukien Nhetung Ketnoi Kemksuk Hongyang Day. If this part met you in your service and your sorrow, type, "My story still matters." Let that truth echo back through your night. This whisper was for your wounds, seen scarred but never worthless. Next time, we'll talk about finding peace between the scars. When your stomach churns and your mind races at 2 a.m., you think you're losing your mind, not just your body. That ache isn't just physical. It's an echo of every loss that sleep couldn't heal. Meet Esther, a 52-year-old Latina single mom living with endometriosis and anxiety. She smiles through school pickups, church gatherings, neighbor conversations. But weeks ago, cramps kept her in bed. She couldn't work, couldn't drive her daughter to ballet. Her daughter's innocent question, "Mom, are your insides okay?" stung deeper than any pain. At 2 a.m., she wraps herself in a blanket, holding her abdomen, whispering, "I feel broken." How do you hold on to your identity? As a mother, as a woman, as you, when your body betrays you again and again, if you've ever thought you're less of a person because of pain, stay. The next whisper may remind you you are not defined by how you feel. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Your worth isn't hidden in your wellness. In the darkness of your body's betrayal, grace finds you home. God's power isn't about fixing or even freeing you from pain. It's about giving you medicine for your soul, His nearness. And in that nearness, you're still valuable, still loved, even when your body trembles. You're not what you feel you are, what God says you are. Hold on. What comes next may cradle the shame this pain planted in you. Picture a quilt with patches of sun and storm. Even the darkest pieces are part of its beauty. Your pain isn't a flaw, it's a patch that tells your story, and God sees the whole quilt as intentional. You are not your diagnosis. You are not broken without purpose. You are still whole in His eyes. Lord, for the one whose pain feels too big to be held, would you enfold them in Gethsemane's quiet strength? Help them hold shame in your light, not alone. If this whisper felt like a soft mirror for your shame tonight, stay. This space sees you as you are. And if this reminded you of your value, the next whisper may teach you how to let go of what shame built. About 65% of women with chronic pain feel misunderstood by doctors or family. You're not isolated even when you feel alone. If this part reminded you that you're enough, comment, "I am valuable even in pain." Speak it so your soul can remember. This whisper was for your soul's value. Next time, we'll explore how to walk through the shadows of shame and find mercy waiting on the other side. It's 5 a.m. and sleep has accused you of loving pain more than rest. Maybe your body aches, but lately, it's your mind that won't stop replaying what ifs. Tonight, you don't have to question yourself anymore. You're thinking, am I just broken permanently? Let's let God answer that. Meet Roberto, a 57-year-old Hispanic father and truck driver whose knees gave out months ago. He used to drive cross-country, tell stories to dispatchers, bring home taco nights. Now he walks with a cane, avoiding holes in sidewalks, embarrassed to explain at checkout lines. His teenage son asked discreetly, "Can you still take me to the game, Papa?" He said yes, then canceled later, pain too sharp. That night, he whispered under dim kitchen lights, "I don't know who I am without the road under my wheels. Am I worthless just because I can't drive my son or provide the way I used to? If your identity feels stolen by pain, stay. The next whisper might give you back your purpose. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." Isaiah 40:31. You formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. Psalm 139:13. Pain can shift your path, but it doesn't steal the journey. God doesn't discard what He knitted. You might walk differently now, but you're still the same love soul from inside out. Your purpose isn't just what you do, it's who you are. Your path may change, but you're still just as loved. Keep going, because next might help you let go of who you thought you had to be. Imagine a river forced to carve a new route when a boulder falls. The water adapts and flows. That's you, not broken, just rerouting, still flowing according to the one who made you. Your value isn't lost in the detour. Your purpose isn't tied to the road. You were knitted before the journey began. Lord, for the one whose world changed with their knees, would you honor their journey? Help them see new paths aren't mistakes but new invitations. If this mode of grace gave you breathing room, stay. We're finding meaning beyond roles. And if tonight rewrote a piece of your identity, the next whisper may introduce hope that doesn't depend on what you can or can't do. Recent studies show chronic pain patients who reframe purpose report 40% less depression. Meaning matters, pain doesn't erase it. If this part restored a piece of your identity, comment. My purpose is still here. Let it anchor your healing. This whisper was about your value in transition. Next time, we'll speak to the hope that blooms in the shadows of our detours. When you care for others, but your body won't respond, your heart breaks silently. And tonight, you might wonder if you're still enough to love when you're the one collapsing. Am I still worth caring for, or have I become the broken one? Meet Linda, a 60-year-old caregiver for her husband with Parkinson's. She's been his rock feeding, bathing, holding him steady. At night, after helping him sleep, she slips into bed, only to find her spine singing with pain. She gently places a hand on his shoulder in the dark, then curls up, feeling like she's the one needing care. One night, she sobbed, silently whispering, "I haven't served enough to earn this rest." How do you care for the one you love? When caring means putting your own needs last. Do you get a break if your heart and body both ache? If you're holding steady for someone else, stay. The next whisper might remind you that your own soul matters too. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28, God doesn't only see the one being cared for. He sees you, who gives endlessly, who aches quietly, who wonders if you're still whole. He whispers, "You're not just a caregiver, you're a child of my heart. You are seen, you are loved. Your caring heart is worthy of care too. Hold tight." Because next might be the release you didn't know you needed. Imagine a gardener who never stops planting even as his own hands get tired. God doesn't expect him to plant until his hands bleed. He takes a shovel from his hand and rests him under shade. Because the gardener also needs care. You deserve rest, you deserve grace, you deserve presence. Lord, for the one giving more than they thought they could, would you come as their rest tonight, hold their heartbreak, and let them know they are treasured, not just in what they give, but in who they are. If tonight's whisper reminded you of your own value, stay. You're worthy of love, even when you're the caretaker. And if tonight made you believe you matter, the next whisper might help you accept that needing care isn't shame, it's being human. Caregivers report higher levels of chronic pain and caregiver burnout than the general population, but many refuse help, thinking they must bear it alone. You don't have to. If this part met you in the silent sacrifice, comment, "I deserve rest too." Say it for your soul tonight. This whisper was for the silent caregiver in pain. Next time, we'll talk about choosing to receive care even when pride fights for your strength. It's 1 a.m. and grief still grinds you awake. Not because something happened, but because you remember something you'd hoped would fade. Tonight, you don't have to let memory define you. You're thinking, if I keep remembering, healing can't come. But maybe healing starts with remembering. Meet Carlos, a 55-year-old Latina man who lost his teenage daughter to illness 3 years ago. Family gatherings change no laughter, no celebration. He carries her favorite blanket in his car, believing it keeps her close. Last night, he unfolded it on his lap, tears falling as he whispered, "I miss your laugh. I feel half lost without you." Does missing her forever mean I'm trapped in grief? Or could it be the tether that keeps love alive if the silence of grief feels like a trap? Stay. The next whisper just might show you the doorway out. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Matthew 5:4. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Anise, Psalm 147:3. God doesn't ask you to forget loss. He honors the memory. He sees you not stuck but held in grief. Every tear is sacred. Every sigh matters. And he gently whispers, you're not trapped. You're being held. Grief isn't a prison. You're being held, not trapped. Hold on. What comes next may help you find peace even as you remember. Picture a tree in winter, bare cold, seemingly lifeless. But its roots are strong, still anchored deep. When spring returns, it will bloom again. Your grief is winter, not the end, but a time held waiting for life again. Your grief isn't a trap. Your tears aren't a failure. You're being held in loss and hope. Lord, for the one whose heart aches for someone gone, would you fold them gently in your peace? Let them find rest, not from love, but within it. If this whisper brought light into your grief, stay. This space mourns with you and holds hope. And if tonight brought healing amid the memory, the next whisper may show you how to walk forward step by tender step. Studies show grief doesn't follow a timeline. 1/3 of mourners still feel stuck after 5 years. But comfort doesn't wait for time. If this part spoke to your heart, comment, held in grief, held in hope, speak it. Let your soul rest there tonight. This whisper was for the one missing someone they love. Next time, we'll talk about choosing to keep living with silent strength. You made it through all these whispers, every ache, every tear, every doubt, and here you are still standing. Maybe not healed, but still here, still breathing, still hoping. There's someone, maybe you, who closes this video, leans back into the pillows and lets out a long exhale. Maybe you don't comment. Maybe you don't subscribe, but you felt it, a quiet recognition that someone, somewhere sees your ache, really sees it. Across these whisperings, from your body's pain to your soul's loneliness, you found a voice saying, I see you. You matter. And you listened. What if you didn't have to fix everything tonight? What if letting this moment hold you was enough before you click away? Know this. The next series isn't about fixing your pain, but about holding your hope. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Numbers 6:24-25. In peace I will lie down and sleep for you alone. Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. This isn't just words. It's a prayer, a benediction whispered over you. Hear it. For the one who aches in the night, you are being held. For the one who wondered if anyone cares, you are deeply known. For the one who survived the long nights, your courage is enough. Rest isn't optional, you were made for it. If you felt this rest, you're invited to stay, because the next whispers may guide you into deeper peace. Picture a lamp in a dark room. It doesn't banish the night, but it lets you see your hand in front of your face. Let this lamp stay lit in your heart. Let its warmth rest on your wound. You don't have to walk out of the dark by dawn. Just let one light be enough tonight. You are seen. You are held. You can rest. Lord, thank you for meeting us where the night aches. May your blessing be the lullaby we rest in, not tonight, not tomorrow, but always. If this blessing met you, subscribe quietly. This isn't just a channel, it's shelter for the heart weary of pretending. And if this night gave your soul rest, come back. The next whisper may walk you into the peace that doesn't wait for pain to end. Even a moment of rest can lower cortisol levels and ease the ache. Tonight's breath alone matters more than you think. If tonight you felt seen, held, or reminded, comment, "I am seen, I can rest." Let this be your whisper into the silence. You've carried a lot, but you don't have to carry it alone. Stay until the next gentle whisper comes, if only to remind you that healing is a journey, not a moment.